I'm going to come to you in a moment, Scott. Thank you for your patience. Just going to bring in Rand Paul, who's joined us.
Salute to the principled libertarian Republican, the son of Ron Paul, a legendary libertarian Republican.
Just going to bring in Rand Paul.
The paws are based.
The president's ire this week for criticizing both the budget and the U.S. strikes on Venezuelan boats, and joins me.
He shouldn't get criticism, but he is getting criticism because he's not a lackey. He's not a Trump sycophant. If you are not a sycophant, they see you as the enemy. If you are not his sycophant, the MAGA puppets see you as the enemy. You can't diverge at all. They demand 100% conformity, servility, just like the effing far leftists. They are equally woke. They are equally woke. They are equally woke. They are equally woke.
There are two choices that have been.
They are equally garbage.
Well, the way I look at it, there are two choices.
They are equally woke.
Republican choice, which would lead to about a $2 trillion deficit next year.
First of all, let's just go through the two things which have wound up Donald Trump. Your objection. First of all, let's just go through the two. It joins me again. Welcome back to Uncensored, Senator Paul. Thank you very much for taking the time. First of all, let's just go through the two things which have wound up Donald Trump. Your objection, first of all, to the budget.
Well, the way I look at it, there are two choices that have been put forward. Republican choice, which would lead to a $2 trillion deficit next year. A Democrat choice, which would lead to about $3 trillion in deficit.
Terrible.
And people say, well, take one or the other. And I'd say, well, I don't really like either one of them. It's sort of like the deficit of $37 trillion. Whose fault is it, Republicans or Democrats? And my answer is yes. It's really both parties. So I put forward a third possibility, and that would be that we balance the budget over 5 years by gradually having across-the-board cuts each year for 5 years. And I think that's the way we should go. And I just can't find myself voting for spending levels that don't
hurts, detriments the country, the people.
And then moving to.
We should go, and I just can't find myself
the legal denizens
for spending levels
of this country
don't decrease the deficit, but actually increase the deficit next year.
And then moving to the issue of these Venezuelan boats being attacked, the
bombed,
administration's position is clear that they think they're dangerous terrorists
with no proof, no evidence.
Threat to the lives of Americans, and that's why they're doing it. What is your objection to the way they're executing?
There are many MAGAs who eat this up and believe it credulously, blindly. They don't do research.
Administration's position
they think Trump is infallible, bro.
Terrorists,
they think
representing a direct threat to the lives of Americans, and that's why they're doing it. What is your objection to the way they're executing this strategy?
We have dangerous people in a lot of American cities, but we just don't go in and shoot them.
There's due process. Every human deserves due process, no matter what his or her immigration status is.
Next year.
And then moving to the issue of these Venezuelan boats being attacked, the administration's position is clear that they think they're dangerous terrorists.
Narco-terrorists, to be precise. They thought the first boat
doing it. What is your objection
of 11 people was a boat of narco-terrorists. They had no proof. They just bombed the boat, bro. This small boat. Yeah, it is crazy, bro. It was a violation of international law to do this. Ron Paul was right. Did Ron Paul say this? Somebody, one of the libertarian people said it. Ron Paul, I believe he said this. Refresh my memory if my memory is off. But yeah, somebody said this is a violation of international law, bro. You can't just bomb boats just because there is a suspicion of narco terrorism or drug smuggling or whatever. Nah, bro, there has to be proof, there has to be evidence to substantiate your claims, to prove to be true what you are saying. You look evil if you just bomb boats with no evidence of wrongdoing, of illegality. Yeah, it is, bro. Yeah, this is crazy, bro. Yo, this, bro. You would think everybody would be in agreement with the remark that bombing stuff with before giving before proving to be true that the people on the boat are criminals is terrible, bro. Is violative, is flouting, is contravening. Yeah. But certain people, they don't think it is that, bro. They're puppets. They're robots. It is sad. It is sad, but it is, yeah. It is sad, but it is the reality. It is sad, but it is the reality. People have to wake up. People have to break free from the mental cages in which they are locked. You know, this idolization of people just because they align with you politically has to cease. It is hurting people. It is making stuff worse.
Next year. And then moving to the issue of these Venezuelan boats being attacked, the administration's position is clear that they think they're dangerous terrorists representing a direct threat to the lives of Americans, and that's why they're doing it. What is your objection to the way they're executing this strategy?
We have dangerous people in a lot of American cities, but we just don't go in and shoot them. I mean, we have trials, they get legal representation, and even on the high seas, it's been that way for generations.
Executing this strategy.
We have dangerous people in a lot of American cities,
True.
but we just don't
I
go in
concur.
and shoot them. I mean,
Words.
we have trials, they get
Yes.
legal representation,
Yes.
and even on the high seas,
In
it's
a
been that way
civilized
for
society,
generations.
there is a trial, there is due process.
Strategy.
There isn't
we have dangerous people in a lot of
extrajudicial
American cities,
killing.
We just don't go in and shoot them. I mean, we have trials, they get legal representation, and even on
People
the high
don't kill
seas,
people
it's been
just
that way for generations.
before
if you
they
go off the
prove
coast
to be
of,
true
Miami,
that
the
a person
Coast Guard
is
will be stopping boats today, and about 25% of the boats that they stop
a violent
that
criminal.
they're suspicious of drugs. There won't be any drugs on board. Guard will be stopping boats today, and that way for generations. If you go off the coast of Miami, the Coast Guard will be stopping boats today, and about 25% of the boats that they stop that they're suspicious of drugs, there won't be any drugs on board. So 25% of the time the suspicion is wrong.
Yeah.
That's why we don't shoot and just blow up boats off of Miami, but neither should we be blowing them up off the coast of Venezuela. Number one, there is no fentanyl made in Venezuela. Not just a little bit, there's none being made in Venezuela. These are outboard boats.
No penitence,
in order for
no
them to get to Miami,
contrition for what they did.
20 times. They're in all likelihood to Trinidad
They don't
and
care.
Tobago, which is an island
Trump,
right
JD
off
Vance,
of the coast of
he
Venezuela.
told this
So there's a lot of reasons
leftist
to be worried
dude
about
on
this.
X, he
But
doesn't
number
care.
one is the broader principle of
He doesn't
when
care.
can you kill
It is
people
crazy.
indiscriminately when you were at war.
He should care though.
Right off of the coast of Venezuela. So there's a lot of reasons to. And you would have to stop and refuel
Anybody
20
who
times.
defends
They're in all
extrajudicial
likelihood
killing
Trinidad and Tobago,
is
which is an island right off of the coast of
a
Venezuela.
dupe
There's a lot of reasons to be
or
worried about this, but number one
a
is the
villain,
broader
one of the
principle
two.
of when can you kill people? These are outboard boats that, in order for them to get to Miami, would have to stop and refuel 20 times. They're in all to just blow up boats off of Miami, but neither should we be blowing them up off the coast of Venezuela. Number one, there is no fentanyl made in Venezuela. Not just a little bit, there's none being made in Venezuela. These are outboard boats that, in order for them to get to Miami, would have to stop and refuel 20 times.
Wow.
They're all likely going to Trinidad and Tobago, which is an island right off of the coast of Venezuela.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of reasons to be worried about this, but number one is the broader principle of when can you kill people indiscriminately? When you're at war. That's why when we declare war, it's supposed to be done by Congress. It's supposed to be thoughtful. It's supposed to be debated. And we're not supposed to do it willy-nilly. And then when you have war, you just kill people in the war zone. And even then, there are rules of engagement.
Yep.
But
You have to follow the
is,
international
always
law.
been a criminal activity in a or you just kill people in the war zone.
If you violate, you
And
are
even
committing
then, there are rules of
you
engagement.
commit a war
But
crime.
interdicting drugs has always been a criminal activity.
It is a
criminal,
war crime to bomb boats
sort of
with no
activity
proof of
where we don't just
wrongdoing
summarily execute people. We actually present
or
evidence
illegality.
and convict them. Or you just kill people in the war zone. And even then, there are rules of engagement.
Yep.
But interdicting drugs has always been a criminal activity and a criminal anti-crime sort of activity where we don't just summarily execute people. We actually present evidence and convict them.
Real evidence.
Donald Trump, as I said, responded.
Indubitable evidence. Incontestable evidence.
So whatever happened to Senator Rand? Donald Trump, as I said, responded. Anti-crime sort of activity where we don't just summarily execute people. We actually present evidence and convict them. Donald Trump, as I said, responded.
If you do the opposite, you are doing a war crime. It is what it is.
Or you just kill people in the war zone. And even then, there are rules of engagement. But interdicting drugs has always been a criminal activity and a criminal anti-crime
Rand Paul is based.
Where we don't
the
just
son of Ron Paul.
This
man is based. Logical and rational.
Responded,
he's reasonable. He's impartial.
Sort of activity where we don't just summarily execute people. We actually present evidence and convict them. Donald Trump, as I said, responded with some ire to your positions here. He said, whatever happened to Senator Rand Paul?
Here we go.
Never great, but he went really bad.
Here we go.
Capitals.
He's in his fifis. He's in his emotions just because
but he just never
somebody
positively for the Republican
in the
Party.
Republican Party doesn't fawn him or suck him off.
No, most positively for the Republican Party. He's a nasty little guy.
Yeah, he always resorts to the ad hominems, the low blows, the below the belt, the vituperative labels, the obloquious labels, the denigratory labels, the verbal abuse. You know, he always resorts to this when somebody doesn't agree with him, bro, who's in his party. He did this to Tucker. He did this to Thomas Massey, another principled libertarian Republican of Kentucky, a congressman of Kentucky. Trump, he verbally abuses people who don't fawn him, bro. People who don't disrespect him, but don't. He verbally abuses people who don't disrespect him, but doesn't fawn him either. He verbally abuses the Republicans who don't disrespect him, but don't fawn him either. It is crazy. He looks childish. He looks immature. He looks stupid. He looks goofy all the way, corny. He looks like a bird, a sucker, a blighter, a piece of crap, a rubbish person, a person of bad character, a sucky person, a mucky person. Bro, stop the verbal abuse. There's a better way. There's a better way. There is a better way to respond to people who disagree. You don't have to resort to verbal abuse or calumny or obloquy or traducement or besmirching of somebody's reputation. But it is difficult for DJT to do. It is very difficult for DJT to do this. But it is very difficult for DJT to do this. DJT is emotional. It is crazy, bro. He is emotional. He can't remain stoic or remain with restraint. He has to call people names, bro, just because they don't agree with everything. Bro, chill, bro. Chill. Chill the F. Yeah, please take a chill pill. It behooves you to do this. It behooves you to do this. It behooves you to take a chill pill. It behooves you to take a chill pill.
Sort of activity where we don't just summarily execute people, we actually present evidence and convict them.
Donald Trump, as I said, responded with some ire to your positions here. He said, whatever happened to Senator Rand Paul? He was never great, but he went really bad, in capitals. I got him elected twice in the great Commonwealth of Kentucky, but he just never votes positively.
So Ron has to be a simp just
He's a
because
nasty little guy.
Not saying to not he shouldn't give you credit for helping or doing truly good things for him, but to demand simpery, to demand servility, to demand sycophancy, to demand toadyism, to demand poltroonery, to demand invertebrate-ish is crazy.
Anti-crimes of activity where we don't just summarily execute.
Tyrannical, despotic, domineering,
Donald Trump, as
and
I said, responded
controlling.
With some ire to your positions here. He said, whatever happened to Senator Rand Paul? He was never great, but
he's
he
not
went
a
really
simp.
bad.
He's not a lackey. He ain't a lackey or a
in
minion.
The great Commonwealth of Kentucky.
That is the truth. That is the real truth.
In capitals. I got him elected twice in the great Commonwealth of Kentucky, but he just never votes positively.
He doesn't have to brown nose you.
He's a nasty little guy. Much like
nah.
Congressman Thomas Massey,
nah.
a.k.a. Rand Paul Jr., also of Kentucky, which I won 3 times.
BJT, he's wild.
A sick wacko who refuses to vote for our
Here we
Republican
go
Party,
with the names
or America First. It's
the
really
puerility.
weird. Your response?
You know, I don't take it too seriously. I've known President Trump for over a decade. I've
Salute. It is laudable
couple dozen.
that Rand is unfazed, unbothered, and unaffected.
It's really weird. Your response?
You know, I don't take it too seriously. I've known President Trump for over a decade. I played golf with him a couple dozen times. I actually enjoy his company and his personality most of the time. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to be a rubber stamp or agree with everything.
You
the
shouldn't.
Idea that it is weird.
Nobody should be idolized. Nobody on earth, no earth dweller should be placed on a pedestal as if he or she is infallible or perfect or faultless or spotless or stainless. Nobody is perfect. So if he or she does wrong, you have to check this person. Him or her, you have to check the person. If he or she does terrible-ish, if he or she says terrible-ish, you should check the person.
My support right now in Kentucky is higher than it's ever.
Don't have fear of dismissal or disownment. You have to be truthful no matter what. Even if you get hate and odium.
We have a debt problem. And they're really it is weird to believe in
integrity over approval.
We should only vote for spending proposals that put forward less debt than the year before.
Laudability over approval. Laudability over approval. Laudability over approval is the mantra to adhere to forever.
Kentucky is higher than it's ever been.
Principles over party.
And really both parties are guilty of it. I would say, if anything, my support put forward less debt than the year before. I think the American people would disagree with that. So, put forward less debt than the idea that it is weird to believe his company and his personality most of the time. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to be a rubber stamp or agree with everything. the idea that it is weird to believe in
Simpery doesn't make you good.
That we should only vote for spending proposals.
Finery doesn't make you virtuous. Finery doesn't make you virtuous.
And the people who voted for me voted more because I'm very honest and forthright. That we have a spending problem, we have a debt problem, and that really both parties are guilty of it.
Yep.
I would say, if anything, my support right now in Kentucky is higher than it's ever been.
Great.
And really from people all across the spectrum, Republicans, Democrats, and independents coming up to me and say, we respect, your ability to stand firm for principles as opposed to just bending the knee or kissing the ring.
Based.
Qualified purchases before the end of the month. Again, text my name, Piers, to 989-898. Do it today. Your dad called the president's comments hysterical. I'm assuming he didn't mean hysterically funny.
Yeah. No, I think that he misperceives what's going on as far as where things are. I think there are people that are concerned about indiscriminately just blowing people up.
Yes,
where does that
rightfully,
lead? It leads to,
reasonably concerned,
it would be a world with
logically
no
concerned,
no rules.
worried.
And I think that some people get in some. He misperceives what's going on as far as where things are. I think there are people that are concerned about indiscriminately just blowing people up because where does that lead? It leads to
decay,
chaos.
to collapse.
It would be a world with no norms and no rules.
No order.
And I think that some people get it and some don't. I mean, some will offer up, well, gosh, the next thing you'll know, Rand Paul will be wanting people to have trials or, for murderers to get lawyers. And it's like, there are very simplistic people who don't think this through, but the worst in society get legal representation.
Yep.
Why? Because sometimes we're wrong.
Yep.
Even when we've been very certain with all of the rules of trial and due process, the DNA analysis has found that many people have been wrongly accused of rape and murder and exonerated after decades in prison.
30, 40, 50 years.
Has found. And so I think that blowing people up indiscriminately in votes, has found. And so I think that many people have been wrongly accused of rape and murder, have been exonerated after decades in prison. The Project Innocence has found. And so I think that blowing people up indiscriminately in votes, there are a lot of reasons why there could be even drugs on the boat, but the boat could be some poor fisherman who took a couple hundred extra bucks to transport these people, maybe assuming they might be drug dealers, but this is a person who did it out of desperation, or it could be they've kidnapped one of his relatives.
You never know.
Because they may harm one of his relatives. There's a lot of reasons why fairly innocent people could be on those boats.
There's a multitude of possible reasons.
We don't want to live in a world of summary execution with no process.
Words.
And finally, your view of the Trump meme, which has caused so much response to this
reaction,
the King's
controversy,
where he basically dropped poop on the American people,
fecal matter,
including Harry's system. What was your reaction to that?
I guess I think of it on a different plane. I think the debate our founding fathers had over the separation.
Rant, he just spat a bar, bro. He probably doesn't even know he spat a bar, but he, bro. He knows he spat a bar. He knows he spat a bar, bro. He spat a double-entendre bar, bro. When he said, I think of it on a different plane, bro. That is crazy. That is fire. A bar. A different plane. DJT, one layer is DJT was in a fighter jet. It is a type of plane, a physical plane, literal plane. He rants, he thinks of this topic on a different plane. DJT is in a fighter jet in that video. He's in a space plane, bro. A space plane is different from a fighter jet. Yeah. Bro. Yo, Rance, yeah, that was fire. Yo, the second layer is a different plane, as in a different plane of thoughts, different plane of thinking, different vibration, different vibrational frequency. Yeah, crazy. Yeah, bro. Like he's thinking on a deeper level than a lot of people who are discussing this topic. He is thinking on a deeper mental level. He is thinking on a deeper mental level than many people who discuss this topic. Yeah, crazy. Bars. Yeah, he's clever, bro. I see what Rance did there, bro. He knew what he was doing when he said, I think of it on a different plane. That is one of the greatest bars of the year. Facts.
But on a different plane. I think of the debate
Tough.
our founding fathers had.
Fire. Dope. A1. Superb. Sublime.
To this,
the
nice.
Nice bar, bro. Nice.
Poop on the American people, including Harry's system. What was your reaction to that?
I guess I think of it on a different plane. I think the debate our founding fathers had over the separation of powers, of what Montesquieu said when he said that the executive powers, when united with the legislative powers, you'll have no liberty if those powers are put together. I've been a stickler for fighting against emergency powers for any president, whether it's a Democrat or a Republican president. So I see the debate over separation of powers as an important one, and one that needs to be on a higher plane maybe than cartoons and memes.
And just
yeah, he cooked. Yeah, right. Yeah, the world needs more people like him. Politics needs the political. Politics needs the realm of politics needs more people like him, bro. He thinks on a different level.